Good morning. Hello, everybody. Maria Bashkarova, and I'm a part of the team from the University of Twente, and I will present our preliminary work on this on literature review. So I'm in actually, let me say it. Correct me if I'm wrong. It feels like, well, I'm in a club. This is the first time I'm in a static and well-being economics club. I'm an environmental economist, and we have a team that consists of different people with different backgrounds. We're very, very, very multidisciplinary. So Carmen Anthony is another colleague of mine, and Javier Martinez, who are present here, and Julia Fulmer and Paula Janica are our part of the team who are not here. But if you have questions, then also please address my colleagues as well. I will talk about a systematic literature review that connects a number of concepts because they're relevant to our study. And this is a part of the Horizon project, and we are doing a part on, I will tell you later, just in a minute, what it is about. So we're combining productivity, sustainability, inclusiveness, and well-being in what we do. So just a little bit of quite a long part of it. So what I will do, this is more like a work in progress. So this is not finished. I will provide some preliminary results. I will provide a bit of an idea about the project that we're involved in, about the review that we're in the process of doing, and some results in the next steps on that. So a little bit of a promotion. WISER, a Horizon Europe project on well-being in a sustainable economy revisited. We have started less than a year ago on looking at and identifying best options for building a high well-being society that is also sustainable and combines productivity growth with social, economic, and environmental sustainability. 24 partners, different locations. So we're combining, and we're looking not only at European context, but combining the insights also from African and Latin American countries. So that is a bit of a context. Different work packages, if you're interested, well, have a look. So what we do essentially is that a couple of people also who are present here are also part of this project, looking at the well-being and in connection to sustainability and productivity growth at a sort of level that was just presented, like the more macro level. And that's what I'm this is my interpretation because I'm more like a microeconomist. There are different work packages, and what we are doing, we're looking at the micro level of well-being that is connects to living environment, built living environment, in particular the green and blue environment. So this is the team. Where's Paula is there as well. So this is the team with the faces, so you can recognize Carmen and Javier here in the public. So what we're talking about is about in this work package, and that's how this literature overview covers the task that we are doing in there. We are talking about the role of social environmental governance factors and leaving no personal place behind. So we are connecting to so not only looking at productivity and how green and blue environments contribute to that, to the well-being through productivity, but we also look at the disadvantaged groups, disadvantaged places, and so that is why we want to combine all of this in one sort of in one package. It's subdivided into different tasks. Let me see. To be able to carry out the right work and to combine also to macro level indicators and macro level processes, we decided that we need the review. We need the basis to build upon. So we decided to make this systematic literature review, or something that is very, very, very close to that. So let me see. To make it the process of systematic literature review is to systematically, clearly, to have a set of search terms, search strings, and search through the scientific databases, and then identify the papers and the sources that are most relevant. So there are a couple of stages there. Well, identification of strings that I will turn to that in a minute. Removal of duplicates. Removal of, through screening, through abstract screening, identifying the potentially relevant papers, and then looking in the full text. So that is the process from the previously completed review. So what we have, we started to strategize about the search terms, because we're coming from different disciplines, and we're talking about something that is, none of us kind of knows the whole area. So we're coming from different disciplines, bringing different expertise. So we started putting together these different dimensions for the search terms. So we looked to identify the green space, the blue space, the disadvantaged groups, well-being string, productivity growth, and urban context, because that's where we are also operating. So these are this is the complete kind of set of dimensions, and then we looked at the different search terms. So we wanted to be very complete and to cover kind of the most complete literature. So we spent quite extensive time to identify those strings based on existing literature reviews, but also just the literature that we are familiar with. So that was quite a long process. We consulted each other. We identified some subgroups, subtopics in this, so bring it together. So what the result was a very, very long string. And what to do is like, it's a combination of OR and operators. So OR within a theme and combining different strings. So it looks like it appeared like, then we started testing it, that it was kind of, well, being complete is a very nice idea, but then you have a very, 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 very long string. That didn't really work nicely with some databases, because there was a limitation that. So we started to select, to be more selective on the particular terms that would enter each strings. Let me see. And of course, there are different results in different databases. And not only that the string was long, it was not practical to put into the search engine. It was also, we were getting a lot of irrelevant hits. Right. Okay, so so that was we had a couple of rounds of iterations, and we used ISR review software, which is AI based, and it was very helpful to identify the more relevant papers. So what it does is, when we load it, or the entries from the search into the software, and you start looking at the abstracts, it kind of helps to rearrange the score or the importance or relevance of the papers. So it learns from your choices that you make. You find it relevant or relevant to give you the more relevant, hopefully or potentially more relevant papers. So that is how it works. But however, if you have, well, hundreds, if thousands hits, then it's quite a long process also to review all this abstracts. So this is the process that is sort of ongoing. And I will give you just a couple of examples of what we have, the practical sort of the outcomes of a couple of searches. So we essentially, on one hand, we do want to combine this all of these strings in one search. However, provided our different tasks, we identified 3 or 4 strings that we would do. We would finally look at. So we wanted, so one of them was more, one of the tasks was concentrated on water and water amenities and water, effective water on the well-being of people. So it was more like water well-being and productivity string that resulted in 219 in the end when we adjusted also for the time span and document type. So you can see the number of papers for each of the dimensions and then combined. And another string was blue and green, so not only blue, but blue and green infrastructure and well-being and productivity. That's where we have now like 1,000 at the exit. What is interesting, so it's kind of, it's still again a work in progress. We're not really happy about this 1,000, for example. This is a bit of too much for this stage of analysis, meaning that you would need to go through 1,000 abstracts, so that's quite a lot of work. So I thought like, well, how can we, so we went through, it's a selection of first a couple of hundreds of hits from which we identified those potentially relevant papers. So what I did, I thought like, well, how can we see what do we have in these papers? Like if we would complete or go on with a further analysis. I made a word cloud from the abstract, so I put it all. And what we see here is that, well, that kind of this word cloud does reflect what we wanted to see. So, well, this is well, what you put in, that's what you get out. But the interesting thing is to when I looked at these two word clouds, comparing first like only water and well-being and productivity, and blue and green and well-being and productivity. So somehow the green doesn't really appear that much in the second cloud. So at least not. So there is still water, but not really a strong or a lot of hits really on the green type. So this is an interesting finding for now. It's just sort of a bit of a very preliminary, clearly, but somehow like when going through this abstracts, it feels like there is more kind of maybe more studies on looking in particularly on combined the well-being and productivity nexus, that the water is seen as a bit more maybe direct sort of way of how water can be can affect, and water amenities can affect people's well-being and productivity compared to green. But maybe there are more, well, definitely there are more papers to come to conclude something like this at this stage. As the next one, I took this blue-green and well-being and productivity cloud. I looked through the abstract and I selected only those sentences and expressions that were really capturing the core of the this. Yes, great. The core of the idea, and with an eye on our research question. You would be, well, quite sometimes you'd be surprised how long the abstracts can be and how many words they kind of don't need. And that's something to reflect on my own writing at any time I write. So when I kind of zoom in into the most sort of relevant parts of the abstract, what I see is that the urban, the water, the development comes in. But let me see. The quality. So what I think what struck me in this abstract that I was going through so far, that also well-being is not really jumping out in this cloud. So what you see is quite a lot of papers in this list. They have well-being in one sentence, mostly in the first or in the last sentence of the abstract, saying green or blue infrastructure really is important in promoting well-being. That's it. So many papers do not really analyze well-being, but they only mention it, and that's how you get the hit. So this is something to look into and to see how we will go next. Because what we have is like we started with loads of pieces of puzzle kind of all together. We're now at the phase where we see the ones that we want to pick and choose. And the next stage will be to really to piece them together. So what we will do next, we will refine even further the search strings to make it more compact and really focus on, well, based on what we have learned in this process, to select those that would really give, well, expectedly the hits in literature that would really reflect the relationships and processes and mechanisms how green and blue infrastructure relates to well-being and productivity growth. Filtering abstract ban, what for the next step? So filtering the abstracts analysis and systematic full text analysis. So we will do the coding. Also, like I did the word cloud. Of course, this is not the most the greatest way to do this. So we will do then the coding, because you can also many things are not. It's not about the words. It's about the meaning. So coding would be more meaningful in this sense. We would look at the differences in different methods that are applied in data sets, the space and topics. So more analysis to come, and to do the representation visualization, because this is of course something that would be, well, really helpful if you are doing such a lot of work on literature, so that it is also accessible to everyone else. So thank you for now, and well, I'm looking forward to your comments and suggestions.
Any questions?
Thank you, and thank you for an interesting presentation. I just wondered if you could say a little bit around the causal relationship between the blue-green space and the well-being, and how that links into productivity, because I was kind of surprised that you didn't include mental health in your search terms, because I feel like potentially the evidence based on the link between, the flow there is a little bit more evidenced.
Thank you. Very good question. A lot of information was not, well, otherwise it would be a very, very long presentation. So on the causality, we didn't look at the causality. So we are looking at the literature that covers, right? So, and we are aware that there is a two-way causality. There is a causality from well-being to productivity, and from productivity to well-being. So that is on that side. So I think that would be more in the sort of results side that we will see. So what are the papers, or what they will cover. And on the mental side, that was part of the string. So we had quite an extensive string. If there is anything else to add at Carmen, because Carmen is on the health side.
All of you. Sorry. Thank you so much. So the third string is actually very long, and we only, in the presentation where you saw this this table, we only listed some, but it's much longer. Mental health is definitely included. Yeah. And yes, the causal relationship will be the results from what we draw from the literature, so meta table and all the information that we draw from what we actually identified. So that would be the next step.
Yes.
That's a helpful question. So the next step is to prepare a meta-analysis with systematic results and effect sizes, etc. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. Yeah. So that's still.
I would ask one other real quick question just while I have the mic, and I'll come over. Is there any refinement by discipline or time period? So you could look at maybe just the last 15 years, or you could look at the whole period. And did I understand correctly, you're using Medline? Did you also maybe use Web of Science?
Among others, yes. Yeah,
Scopus.
multiple databases, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the multiple databases, and then they're combined in this. Then we put everything in ISR review.
And discipline? Like
no,
economics versus because.
Well, that may be come in the kind of let's say the analysis, but not one search. No.
So a quick question, not really related to this work because you raise a lot of expectations. I'm really curious to see the results. But about the use of artificial intelligence in this kind of research, you used this AAS review to screen the relevant papers from the non-relevant. Have you actually checked, yourself if the selection done by AAS review would match your human intelligence?
Yes, yeah, that's true. No, so good question. Clearly, I'm also skeptical, hopefully skeptical about AI. Well, I didn't. Yeah, I should have included a wonderful graph. So what you have is that it helps you sort of. Well, I can imagine if you have really thousands and you decide to go through thousands of abstracts, that you go through first 500 or whatever. So in this way, it is really instrumental in having these rankings. However, what we want to do is to go through all the abstracts. So we don't want to leave it to AI to define what AI thinks is most relevant. So the graph you get the ISER review is really instrumental in kind of documenting all the steps. So this is definitely the function that we are relying on. And what it does, you can see also how many relevant papers from what you choose are there in the, like, as you go, right? So it provides the statistics as you go. And then you see also this it's not like this, nicely shaped, right? But you see that there are still more, the most hits are, for example, in the first 100, and then the relevance of the papers decreases. So it is sort of relatively efficient, but this is really like, we are not relying on this in the end, but we will go through all the abstracts that we will put in. Does that answer the question?
Right. I think that's time.
Thank you so much.